So last year you got a loan and bought the most expensive MacBook Pro that you could afford. This year they dropped the new MacBook Pros with the M2 chips. Should you upgrade to the M2 Pro or the M2 Max? We're going to find out in this video. So what I have in front of me is the M2 Max variant. I'm actually installing games right now, but this is the M2 Max variant of the 16-inch MacBook Pro. And this is the 14-inch variant. So what we have is basically fully loaded machines. The only upgrade this doesn't have is the 8TB of SSD, but this is the M2 Max with 12 cores of CPU, 38 cores of GPU, 96GB of RAM, and we also have 4TB of storage. So with that, this is basically a fully loaded machine, but it also comes with a hefty price tag of about 5,30,000 rupees. And that is more than what you were paying for a fully loaded MacBook Pro last year. So the M2 variants have also become, let's say, about 30,000 to 40,000 on the base price, more expensive than last year. So last year's machines started at about 1,60,000 for the 14-inch. This time around, they're 2 lakh rupees for the 14-inch starting price. So you do see a massive uplift in starting price. As far as build quality is concerned, design is concerned, you're seeing basically the same design from last year. You have the same MacBook Pro with the raised feet at the bottom. You've got ports that were added, HDMI, USB-C, or Thunderbolt. And then you have an SD card reader. On this side, you have more Thunderbolt, you have the MagSafe, and you have a combi jack over there. The trackpad on the 16-inch is massive compared to the 14-inch, which is still massive if you compare it to Windows laptops. Battery life on both of these has been amazing for the 2 months that we've been testing these, and the displays are also absolutely phenomenal. These are great for editing, for color correction, for graphics, for 3D, for photos, for photo editing, anything that you want to do which requires you to get accurate colors, great contrast. These displays are amazing for that. I mean, these also make for great consumption machines. So if you're somebody who likes to travel a lot, wants Netflix or things like that, movies on the go, these are great for that as well, but they're really overpriced if you just want to consume some content. So an iPad will suffice for that. But if you want a nice large 16-inch display, this one will give you 120 Hertz. You have amazing levels of brightness and a really vivid liquid retina HDR display. Weight-wise, the 16 inch is definitely heavier. This one weighs in at about 2.16 kilograms, whereas this one is about 1.64 kilograms, so about half a kilogram less than the 16 inch. But the 16 inch, as far as the overall size and dimensions are concerned, goes into about a 14 or a 15 inch traditional sleeve. So it's basically the size of a 15-inch laptop, but you get slightly more screen real estate. You also get this area which is around the notch, which is extra, so to speak. So this is because of that, the form factor of the display also changes, the aspect ratio. So you get this extra real estate where the menu bar goes in, so you're not really consuming any of your existing screen, which is great, which is what was the same case last year as well. Another thing that's great on the 16-inch as opposed to the 14-inch is the speakers. They're extremely loud and vibrant. You get lots of bass as well, and that goes across the range. And 14-inch is good, but this one is just much more bass, much larger speakers, and a much larger cavity to enhance that bass as well. So because of that, they sound amazing. You also get really good web cameras and inbuilt mics. So if you want to do video calls and things like that, these are basically perfect for that. What they are basically portable powerhouse machines. You're restricted to the Apple ecosystem. You can't install Windows on them yet. We took this one with us for the Apple Store launch in Mumbai, and we edited on this. Lots and lots of effects and stabilization and tons of things added in the timeline. You can get an export for about 3.5 minutes of 4K edit, something like this, in 2 minutes, and that too on battery, which is kind of mind-blowing to think about it, because just a couple of years back we had to sit for about half an hour just to see an export on a full-fledged desktop machine. So this is a portable machine. So like the dynamic changes completely with the M2 or the Apple Silicon chip. So the M2 is about 30% faster than the M1. So in comparison to last year's M1 Max, these ones are about 30% faster. And you do see that in the benchmarks as well. These are also great for gaming. Right now, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is basically one of the best games that you can get on Mac, but there are new AAA titles being developed for the Apple Silicon, which we will get to see on the future generations of the MacBook. Now, coming back to our core question, if you bought the M1 variants of the MacBook Pro, should you upgrade to the M2 variants? Short answer, no, you don't really need to, because the performance uplift is about 30%, but the price is also much more. And the M1 variants are basically more than sufficient for mostly everyone, unless you have a very specific performance-oriented task that you need the extra horsepower for. You don't need to upgrade. And I can tell you that after testing these for about 2 months. Should you buy the M2 variant if you've not got the M1 variant? If you need a MacBook Pro for the kind of work that you do, or if you're into video editing and you want to learn on Final Cut, the M2 Pro is basically one of the best machines you can get, apart from like a Mac Studio. You get portability with these and lots of performance. So it's definitely a worthy device if you're in that domain and would like a really powerful laptop that gives you great battery life, a good display, good speakers, all of that. Now, last year's MacBooks, especially the Pro variants, were really overpowered, and in comparison to some of the competitors out there, they were already pushing everyone else behind. The M2 variant, especially the M2 Max variant, with all of this added to this, really pushes the boundaries as far as performance is concerned. You get an uplift in battery life as well. So all of those things added, this basically remains unchallenged for the specific applications that this is designed for. You don't have a competitor, especially if you are running apps like Final Cut. You don't have an option but to buy a Mac. But if you want like a really powerful portable device, the M2 MacBook Pros definitely become that option. Well, that's it for our video. I hope you guys enjoyed, got some information out of this. If you have any particular questions or queries, you can drop them in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next one.